Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back. Roger Blair, Lulu, Denise, Moon, and Noon. Hello there. This edition is brought to you by, yes, thank you, Appalachian Botanical Company. We got the Beard Balm, the Beard Oil, and the Beard Cream in stock. Thank you for partnering up with Bigfoot Outlaw. Now shipping. Check out our store. It's in the description and also below our YouTube channel. Thank you for partnering up with us. You are one of a kind. Thank you very much. SkyWalker, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Grizzly?
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. So welcome, everybody. Nice to see everybody today. Nice to have you. So starting off your new show, huh?
Hi, it's so great to be here. I'm so excited. So happy to be here.
Welcome, Brian Barber. Round of applause for Brian. Did good on the last show. So what are we going to get into today?
Well, today we're going to do SkyWalker SchadenFreude's Guide to Manifestation.
Awesome.
And I hope that I can teach you a few things that maybe you never learned before or heard before.
Awesome. I'm always game. Absolutely. Because I do believe in manifestation. A lot of people don't understand how it works, but it does work.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So are you ready for me to get into it?
Absolutely. I got it on the board for you.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get into what it is, how it works, and how it's done. Okay. Can you see my screen? Did it change?
Yes.
For you guys?
It sure did.
Okay, so you've heard before probably that the law of attraction, positive attracts positive and negative attracts negative. And that's just a nutshell really of how it works. So, and we'll get into that. So this is just what it is for right now. All right. And then, so energy, they are starting to learn that thoughts are like a form of energy, or that they have mass. So they vibrate at a certain frequency. So, and as we know, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So all the energy that is in the world is it. Okay. But it can be transformed, as you can see in nature. You can see water turn into clouds. You can see it turn into ice, and so forth. Now, our thoughts, when we think, we have these firing of the neurons and the ions, and there's a lot of energy and electrical processes going on in the brain. And so there you have Einstein's famous quote that, mass and energy, equal matter. So therefore, thoughts are a thing. And the energy that your brain uses when it's thinking, or the thoughts are going through the kind of central, station there, is about 22 watts. And that's like a light bulb. They found that chess players, they used to say you can lose an average of 200 to 300 calories just by playing a game of chess alone, a very intense game of chess. But really, it's about a 10% increase over doing nothing. And what you're doing is burning glucose. So just by playing a game and that mental activity, you can burn calories. So that means that you are using a lot of energy when you think. And then they just found these things called biophotons. So these are light particles that are emitted by living cells. They're a lot lighter than the light that we see. They are the ultraviolet light, the last purple on the rainbow. So you have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then you have a violet and then an indigo. Or is it indigo and then violet? Yeah, indigo and then violet. Violet is the color of the light that's emitted from your brain when you're thinking. And so light can also be converted into another form of energy, matter. And they have proven that when they collided the two protons together in the Hydro Collider, they had made some matter. So Um, then this is kind of fun. This is, I don't think, yeah, the video will play.
What you're looking at here are two neurons under the microscope that I've filmed.
So,
And if you wait really patiently, you'll be able to see them connecting to one another.
so this is what happens when you learn something new. However, once they're connected, it's very hard to disconnect them. So that's why people kind of get set in their ways and stuff, but it's not impossible. So that is how we, sometimes have, new way of thinking. All right, let's see. Oh, it doesn't want to go to the next one here. Here we go. And then the world is full of things that we can't see. So we have sound and light waves. That's where it first got me, was when I could hear you talking, but I couldn't see the sound waves hitting my eardrums. And those invisible forms of energy, we sense those, and they allow us to interact with our environment, communicate with each other. And I wouldn't even be able to see you if it wasn't for light. There's electromagnetic fields. We have gravitational fields. We have energy fields like magnetic. And these are by moving electrical charges or permanent magnets. They can interact with other magnets. And then we get into the subatomical particles. So we have electrons, protons, neutrons. These are all the building blocks of the atoms that make up, our cells. And we have about 700 trillion cells in each of our bodies that regenerate every 7 years, they say. They're all emitting a little bit of light whenever they're processing. And what else about those? I think it's really, I'm going to go back to that. I think it's really awesome that our cells we're all made of like the same things at the whole universe, but our cells have organized and decided to like bind together to make you, and they don't just float off and they stay. So, where you begin or where the universe ends, I think it's really a miracle. So we have dark matter and dark energy. So these are what they just found in the universe. And it's believed to influence gravity. It's believed to accelerate the expansion of the universe. It's an energy you can't see, but, it makes me think of sort of like when a baby is being formed in the womb. So some of the cells are destroyed and disappear, and then others are built up to form a hand or whatever. So I think that might be how things are created too in our universe. And so it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's sort of a necessary thing, but a little too much of it might be where sometimes in our lives we get a little malfunction. And then we have air and gas. We have wind, and we breathe up the tiny molecules like oxygen, and then the trees breathe the oxygen and put out carbon dioxide, or vice versa. We put out carbon dioxide and they put out oxygen. We have radio waves. I can't see them, but they're out there, and we know that's for sure. If you're listening to me right now, we have X-rays that can pass through and get an X-ray of your body. And then we have radiation. So that's the night vision technology. So lots of things we cannot see. And then there's concepts and ideas. So these are things that you can't see. They're thoughts, but they shape us still, and they have an effect on us. So love, fear, happiness, they're emotions we can't see. But definitely when you get emotional, it changes the chemistry in your body. And then we have time and gravity. So in this dimension, time and gravity act a little different. And then when you get out into space, it seems to be more space. And then time is, if you are an astronaut or a space traveler, you're essentially going to be a time traveler. So if you go out there and come back, you're going to be traveling in time. And then a lot of people forget about temperature, another hidden force. And temperature, changes matter. It's what changes water into vapor and gas. The coldness can turn it into ice. But also remember, we have sea turtles. And sea turtles, the sex of the babies are determined by the temperature in the air. So they are called a temperature dependent sex. And then that makes me think of astrological signs. Like, maybe there is something to what month you were born at. And I know Eastern and Western have different signs. And so maybe it does have an effect on maybe your personality or your traits that are expressed when you're born. And then we have the thymus or the pineal gland. And this secretes melatonin. And so that is a different kind of fluid than all the other fluids. It's self-contained. It is a fluid, but it's not mixed in with your other bodily fluids, which I think is pretty neat. It is used that's what it was saying, that it has a cerebral spinal fluid, not the same that's in your body like the plasma. But it has to do with sleep, hunger, or how wakeful you are, your sleep cycle. But it also increases in the winter months when you need it. And you might have mood changes if your body is sensitive to that. And it seems to have some anti-anxiety properties. So then we get into frequency. And frequency, I think, is the key to this manifesting in this galaxy of ours. So it's called cymatics. And if you've ever seen the sand speakers that vibrate a certain frequency into this plate, and the sand makes these geometric shapes depending on what frequency it is.
Right.
So that is very interesting, and the different patterns emerged. But I also think about sonic cleaners like dental scrapers and the jewelry cleaners we used to have, that you put the jewelry in there and it just knocks off all the stuff by the vibration alone. So the sonic cleaners too, what is that called, what the dentist uses? It uses heat. So he couldn't get the plaque off unless he used the sonic cleaner that vibrates really fast and gets hot. And then it removes plaque. And a lot of people believe that there might be some plaque on some of the areas of your brain, maybe from what we've been eating, maybe around that pineal gland. And so practicing high vibration, can help to knock some of that stuff off. And then there's the mind-body connection. So some people believe it's connected. If your mind is sick, your body will follow. If your body is sick, your mind will follow. And remember, I said earlier, when you get upset, the chemistry in your body changes. The body loves to eat blood flow and oxygen. So a little bit of activity can help light up the areas in the brain. And then thinking is real medicine. So you know about the placebo effect. If you feel like you have gotten some medicine for something, even if it's a sugar pill, just the thought alone that it could work can actually help you to feel better or get better. And then, so when we're hungry, angry, or lonely, I call it HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, our logical side of our brain shuts off. Now, some people say it's the left side. Some people say it's the right side. It depends on what side of is dominant. So if you're right-handed, it's probably going to be your left side, okay? But it's your logical side, not your artsy side. So not your childlike side. So when we get upset, it shuts off so that we can go into the mental activity of fight or flight. And then that's when you see people acting like they are 10 years old again, throwing a tantrum, and they're 55. So you have to calm your body down first before you should respond or make a decision when you're in that state. And I'm going to talk a little bit about meditation, because everybody's like, meditate, 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 meditate. So meditation is great. I think it's a way of disciplining your body. You say, I'm going to sit here for 20 minutes until this timer goes off, And you are not going to get up and check the phone or do this or do that until the timer goes off. And when you do that, because if you don't learn that you're the thinker and that you run this body, it's your vehicle, it will run you. So you learn, and if you do that, a lot, you'll get better at it. So then if something happens in life and you want to respond, your body's like, wait, let me stop and think about this for a minute. But there's also something I learned called Nixon, and it's a Dutch word. Nixon is the art of doing nothing. So you get a lot of books that tell you how to do this, and the self-help books tell you how to do. How about we just don't do anything? Like when you were a child. I hope that a lot of you had this kind of childhood, but I had one where there was like long periods of time where I could sit, kind of look up at the sky, daydream and think, and I didn't have all the responsibilities of adulthood. I mean, sometimes we don't even stop. We're the kids, the work, this everything. So sometimes just creating a space and sitting. I don't recommend watching TV during that time, but just don't do anything. Just relax and take a break like you did when you were a kid and you had no worries. Because this is when your creative mind and all of your inspiration and ideas and epiphanies come to you. So I think also we need to add more attention to things. So not less meditation and maybe more attention to think about what you're doing. Think about what you're thinking about. And then some people spend more time planning their next vacation than they do their whole life. So that's something to think about. Okay, so then we have hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy is actually this frequency that's on the border of alpha theta. And it's the same one that your mind goes into when you're meditating or practicing Nixon, or and it's when children are at play, when things are just natural, when you're a kid and you don't even have to sit and meditate or all that. It just comes to you. So that's the state you want to try to be in when you want to manifest. And so you're conscious of your surroundings. You're not in a deep hypnosis. You're relaxed, and like I said, it's like when you don't have the weight of the world on your shoulders. And then children are curious, eager to learn, free from worldly concerns, less often concerned with material possessions or worldly matters. But it's not about being naive. It's about balance. So kind of like in the Bible when it says be childlike, just that's the kind of state you want to be in to manifest. And if you get really good at it and do it a long time, you can do it with your eyes open. You can just do it as you're walking. You don't have to sit and meditate and close your eyes and all that and prepare. You can just do it just in your mind. So it becomes a very natural process. And then guided imagery. That's a form of self-hypnosis. So you don't need to go pay a lot of people money or anything like that. I did go to counseling at UNF when I was there. I wanted to take advantage of all my benefits and see what it was like on the other side of the chair. And I remember her doing rapid eye movement desensitization with me, where we would, a memory would come up and then we would try to resolve it. And I remember going, but I don't want to lie to myself. I feel like I'm lying to myself. And she gave me permission at that time that said, you're allowed to think however you prefer to think. And that opened my mind. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, if you're not hurting anyone and it's in the past, and yeah, if you want to reframe it and think about it a different way, then why not? So here's a couple of mental hacks you can do while you're in this state. So here's one where if you're cold, you can think about something hot. So maybe I'll use the cold one instead. So because it's really hot and it's summertime right now. So if you want to feel cooler, you imagine yourself eating some ice cream or stepping into the snow, playing in the snow. And you might actually start to feel, even right now when I'm talking to you, the sensation of a little cooler. Then also, if you're ever in pain or in the hospital for something, say you've had an accident, the face of your caregiver, whoever, when you were a baby and you cried before you could talk, whoever's face would show up and comfort you can help reduce pain when you're in just the sheer sight of their face. Your mind recognizes the pattern of their face, and that can help you to reduce pain. Okay, and then if any of you are having trouble sleeping at night, what I recommend is to put a yellow notepad on the side of your bed and write down all the things that your mind is worrying about. Because your mind is saying, these things are important. I don't want you to forget them. So if you write them down on a little legal pad and keep it right next to your bed, your mind now can trust that as soon as you wake up, you can start worrying about those things all over again and you won't forget them. So then your mind will let you go to sleep after that. And if you want to remember your dreams, the best thing to do is also write them down as soon as you wake up. So you wake up and you try to remember your dreams and you write them down. That's almost the only way sometimes, because you will forget them in just a few minutes after you wake up. So how this all started with me, I was very young and I dreaded going to sleep at night because I was having these reoccurring nightmares. It was the same nightmare almost every night, and every night I'd have them and I would just not looking forward to going to bed. So I started to imagine like a beautiful day playing with my friends, and I would eventually fall asleep to that, and then it would be. So, and then also I've told you before on the last show about Big Bird in the show teaching me how to control my dreams and how I could fight off the monsters. And that fixed it for me. I didn't have any more problems with that. And then there's the hack of time perception. So if you're at work and it seems like it's going like really slow, you can help speed up your perception of time by being engaged in activities. And, when you're having fun, time flies. But then let's say you're on vacation and you really don't want the time to fly by too fast. I recommend like maybe taking off your watch, not having like an itinerary that's packed full, and just, nix in and just really relax, and that time, make the time go by a little slower for you. Mindfulness. So that's where I meant about attention. So that mindfulness, it just helps you to think about what you're thinking about, and more precision manifesting. And then the last hack before I go into this is I forgot now. Oh, you can create a sanctuary in your mind. I have a vision of a place that I go to if I'm ever stressed or anxious or nervous, and I just tap into that and go there and relax, and and so that's like, you can do that as well. It's very peaceful. All right, let me go back one here. Okay, so quantum mechanics. So all right, now we know about the subparticles. In this dimension, it takes time and effort to do anything. So if you want to get up and walk to the door and open the door, you have to stand up, fight gravity, stand up, exert some energy and force to walk over, which takes time, and then you have to actually open the door. Well, when you're in this state of mind, this hypnotherapy guided, whatever you want to call it, in this area, you are actually in what they call the 0 point field in quantum mechanics. So that is where everything is: the past, the present, the future, all the new ideas, all the new inventions, all the epiphanies, all your thoughts, just everything. And another mind hack is you can go back in time in your mind and ask yourself at different ages for advice on things. So say you went through something similar 10 years prior, and now you're going through it again, but it's just a little different. You don't quite know what to do or how to cope. You can go back in your mind when you put yourself in this state and ask your old self, what would you do? You know what I mean? And that's another, way too. So basically what it's saying in this 0 point field is, if you just think it, the door comes to you in that field. So all the particles, all the atoms and stuff would just come to you instead of you having to do a lot of force. So the next dimension is more effortless, not all this matter, like weighing us down. Remember, it has It has mass, and there's a saying that all worries are matters, or all matter is worrisome. Well, I think of the word matter. And if you've ever had something on your mind or something that was hard or difficult, once it was resolved, you felt a lot lighter. So that's what you're trying to feel, is lighter and like a higher frequency. And you feel that when you go there in your mind. So then I found out that our electrons and all this energy, it cannot be created or destroyed, that we're producing when we think and move and process and such, and our cells do their thing. They blink in and out of existence for like a nanosecond. Every nanosecond, all these electrons, and they blink in and out of existence. I think they go to the 0 point field, but it's almost like, so it's almost like a temporary energy fluctuation, so it has somewhere to go and come back. So I thought, and you can find more on that in a book by Deepak Chopra, I think. I can't say his name right now, but I read it maybe 30 years ago. These particles, so they make virtual particles, I guess a thought particles that are converting to matter. So they're not permanent. They only exist for a short time, and they flicker in and out of existence in that 0 point field. So, and the reason was, even in the ground state, lowest possible energy state, these fluctuations prevent the system from being truly devoid of energy. So it like has to go somewhere. So it goes somewhere and it comes back. Okay. Other dimensions. So, and the 0 point field, you're thinking in your thoughts. Now remember, sound waves and stuff, we can't see them, but they're out there. So when you're thinking and you're doing this, you're, maybe going into other dimensions. Sorry about that. So, in space-time. So every event, past, present, or future, is within this block of time. So I've heard that time is not linear. It's more like a vortex, like because we're flying through space and spinning and orbiting, that time is like a spiral, right? Like you were here at one point, and then you're going to come back around full circle, and it's going to seem very, similar. So it's the same kind of thing with the block there with the time. So time is not just, like that, right? And I'm sure you've all experienced something like that. Let's see. So we can't, I guess, go back in time and change the past, but we can try to change our future in this field when you're in there. So, having the door come to you. And then we have Carl Jung, and he came up with the collective unconscious, or the collective conscious, where it's like all of our shared memories, experiences, symbols, consciousness, ideas, inventions are all floating around in there just for the plucking. So if you open up your mind, the new invention might just go into your mind, or the concept or theory or whatever. So just waiting for you to tap it. And then this is another way to describe the dimension. So imagine you've never left your living room. All you know is living room. That's your whole world. You've never left. You don't know anything else. Now there's somebody in the kitchen. There is a kitchen, but you don't see it because you've never been out of your living room. But there's somebody in there that knows about the kitchen because they're in it and the living room, and they can see you sitting in the living room. Now, if they walk from the kitchen into the living room, it's going to appear to you like they just came out of nowhere, right? And then if they go back and you still don't know about the kitchen or go in there, then they're going to seem like they disappeared. So that's, but it's very natural for the kitchen person who travels through dimensions all the time, very easy for them. So they're like, why are you, reacting this way? But you were just like, whoa, where did you come from? And then where did you go? So that's, the other dimensions. And then, so the thing with blessings, so say you are really wanting a new house or a new car. Are you ready for the maintenance? Are you ready? Because if you get a new car, you're going to have to clean it and maintenance it, and definitely going to have to, keep up with it. So that's time and energy, effort, right? A new house the same way. So when you're manifesting these things, the sky's the limit. There are no rules in the 0 point field. You can talk to anyone. You can have any kind of relationship. Anybody can look how they want. You can look how you want. You can have any kind of vehicle, any kind of home. But when you do that, you kind of already gave it to yourself. So you already feel like you have it. And so you want less in this dimension to hold you down or drag you down, the material stuff. But if you try to keep manifesting something, it might not come out like you want, or be careful what you wish for. So it's good to put a little thought into what, do you really want this new responsibility, say? Do you have the time, the money, the space to take care of it in this third dimension with this heavy matter? Okay, and faith. So, just like a surgeon has to believe that he can perform the surgery, you also have to believe that this stuff works, or it may not. It can with doubt, but it just kind of turns up the volume a little bit if you have faith. Otherwise, you wouldn't even attempt it, because you wouldn't have no belief in. And also, like it's an art, it's a practice. So like a doctor practices medicine, a real estate agent practices real estate. So you might not be perfect at it. It might not be great at first, but with practice, you might get better. Okay, and there's your aura. So we all have that energy field that we're kind of emitting and is there because of all the electrical processes and stuff. So there is a movie out that I like, a book. It was a book first. It's called The Celestine Prophecies. And it talks about how if you are a negative person, or you're in a state of lack, like you really want all this material stuff or what have you, or you're not very good, like positively social person, when you are around like another person, you might drain their aura. Their aura will get dimmer and yours will get a little bigger. But when two people come together and they're both givers and they're both like kind of respectable of each other's boundaries and such, or auras, then both auras actually get bigger. So that's the with that. So what it says is the whole, by focusing on positive qualities or inner beauty, you send positive energy their way, which can be uplifting for both of you. So it creates this energy flow that benefits both individuals. And then protecting your own energy. You're allowed to protect that energy if you feel like somebody is draining you of yours, because you cannot manifest when you're tired, okay, like that. All right, so now we get into how it's done. So a lot of people think that it's everything outside of us that makes us happy, but it's actually the chemical reaction within your body that's making you feel happy. So you see something, you react to it, you respond to it, and the chemical processes like dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, that creates the feelings of motivation, desire, pleasure, and arousal. So it's already inside of you. You can already summon this up. You don't need the external things to feel it. And this is the key ingredient that a lot of people miss in manifesting. This is, it turns it up, okay? So a little bit about DNA. Cells, our cells vibrate. Every living thing has a vibration. Almost everything, not even living, rocks, crystals, they all have a vibration. They all vibrate at a certain frequency. And cells vibrate. It's essential for expression of our genes and the repair of our DNA. And then audible sounds and frequencies there are studies out that say it can affect our gene activity. So emotions equal frequency, and it is the volume up dial for manifesting. And it's what a lot of people miss. They think that they can just imagine something, and you got to so here, I'll teach you how. So this is how we do it. So everyone has a movie screen in your mind's eye. It's about right here. I don't have to close my eyes. I can see it right now. It gets easier with practice. I've been doing this since about 13 years old. But But the first thing I learned, and I don't have to do this rainbow countdown, I'm going to teach it to you, but I don't have to do it every time now. It's gotten more sophisticated at first. So on your movie screen in your mind's eye, and if you all want to practice this now, that we're going to get into the exercise of manifesting. So you don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to, especially if you're driving right now and listening. I've done this driving with my eyes open. But you're going to imagine the number 7 on your movie screen. And when I first started doing this, you're going to start with a red 7. You're going to count down orange 6, yellow 5. But when I first started doing just basic 2D 7, you want to try to hold it for 3 seconds. So this is just going to make your mind's eye imagery on your movie screen more sharper and more detailed over time. Now my shapes are like rotating, transparent, gleaming, and circling when I do this exercise to try to get into the visual imagery. So let's go ahead and do it. So you want to envision a red 7. You want to hold it for a minute. An orange 6, a yellow 5, a green 4, a blue 3, a violet 2, an indigo 2, and a violet 1, an ultraviolet 1. So, and if you want to go even deeper, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so here we are. And now I'm in my mind's eye and I can see everything. I usually start off in the courtyard of my little sanctuary that I made. So it has like a tree with a door that goes into the sanctuary in my mind that I made. So I usually start off there. That's where I am. So let's get started. So I'm going to use a simple manifesting exercise for this one just to introduce you to it. So I'm going to try to manifest what my favorite vehicle is right now. I do have a vehicle. It's about 20 years old, but I could use a new one and one that, maybe is more. And so I've had my eye on it. So I would love to manifest the new Volkswagen bus that just came out, the new microbus. So you can manifest whatever you would like. So if you get the picture of what you want in your mind's eye, I have it. Now I want you to picture everything about it. I'm looking at the steering wheel. I can see the colors. I can see just every little detail in it. And it's just rotating and I can see it. I can see me in it, right? But now I have to actually feel like I already got it. So now I'm going to envision. I want you to envision you already got what you were envisioning, what you want. And I want you to feel the emotions of what you would feel like if you got this. So if I somehow, some way found a way to get this new Volkswagen microbus, I would just be overjoyed. I would be so excited. I'd want to go out for a joyride. I can hear you, and you're going to want to hear the car. You want to see your hands on the steering wheel and actually see yourself driving it and the wind in your hair and then feel the emotions of what you would feel like if you actually already had it. So you already have it. That's the key ingredient. So you have to feel for it to start the conversion into the matter. Okay. And then sometimes it usually happens pretty quick after that. I will say not always. I tried to manifest a Tesla. And I did eventually get to rent a Tesla for 5 weeks, but I think I knew that I couldn't handle the payment or afford it. I would just lose it if it wasn't in this like rental, way. So I did get to rent it. When I picked it up, it had a license plate that said Jaw on it. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that was me manifesting. I never thought in a million years I would ever get to drive one, but I did. So that's sometimes how it works. So it doesn't always work exactly how you want. But I think that is it for the beginning of it. And so now if anybody has any questions.
So it's interesting because I actually know people. People say they're lucky, and they're like, "No, I manifested."
Yeah, they're just naturally doing it.
Yes.
When you get in that childlike faith where you're just trusting and you're not worrying about too much and you're light and your frequency is high, it just happens. And
we're talking about jobs. We're talking about money.
Yeah.
To have to pay bills. And yeah. I'm just saying it really does work.
It does. Yeah. And then it's fun, like happy surprises too, so.
It sounds like Paranormal Pixie out there knows a lot about this. It's very interesting. Yeah.
And also you can fight negative paranormal energies in this way too. You can imagine it. You can feel like you would feel if it was gone out of your life. And then it might, work. So.
Brian Barber, are you paying attention?
Yeah, they don't like the light. When you do this and you're happy and you have everything you need and you're satisfied and you have no worries or fear, you start to become so bright. Sometimes people can see like you have a sun around your head when you're always in it. And the negative, dark energies hate it. They run from it. They don't like it.
Yeah, Paranormal Pixie says, and the process can be immediate or take time, like ripples in the water.
Yeah. And you know what? I should have said something about divine timing too, because like sometimes you will be happy it didn't happen right away, but it happened when it happened because it was just a better time for you, so it is kind of good to wait for that right timing.
Yeah, it is. It's a fascinating subject. I've talked to people over the years and I've actually asked them, so what's your secret? And they tell me I manifested, and I thought years ago, I thought they were cookie, but what can you say?
Yeah. Until something happens to you where you go, oh, I did that. I remember thinking that and it happened. Then it's like more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some people say they pray and their prayers are answered, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Welcome, Care Bear.
It's the same, pretty much same thing. It's prayer. Mm-hmm.
Paranormal Pixie says, it's been a part of my life studies in paranormal living journey. See?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So Paranormal Pixie, what have you manifested? I know people manifested relationships, money, jobs, like I said a minute ago. So
I just want to say that like my favorite relationships are 5D because they're safe. My 5D boyfriend is just handsome as can be, sweet as can be. Yeah. He doesn't give me any trouble at all.
Right. Amen for that. So, yeah.
No jealousy or anything,
Absolutely.
In fact, I heard in the next dimension or in the future, there's a theory that all relationships are 5D, that you're just telepathically relating all over the place. So.
Absolutely. So, but no, that was awesome.
Thanks.
So yeah, absolutely. Anybody have any questions?
Oh, and I would love to hear stories next week of what you did during the exercise and if anything happened. Please email me and let me know if it, helped you or what, or if you have any questions or anything.
Yeah, it was a fascinating subject. It was perfect. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we got another show coming up tonight at 7 p.m. and another one at 9. So make sure and tune in for that. And how can they reach out to you and find you, SkyWalker?
I'm on Facebook as SkyWalker SchadenFreude. Is my name up there?
Yes, it's up there.
Okay, yeah, it's spelled correctly this week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I also have a Gmail, SkyWalkerSchadenFreude@gmail.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and from coast to coast around the world, we'll catch you tonight at 7 p.m. Thank you all.
Godspeed.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Coming to a YouTube channel near